This speech will be about Ridley Scott and how he's changed the sci-fi world. Space, the final frontier. How many of you have imagined going up in a spaceship, going to a different planet? I know I have. Many of you would think of Star Wars or George Lucas, but I would think of Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott completely revolutionized the science fiction table when he introduced Alien and Blade Runner. But before we get into those, we have to go into the past, and we have to go into 2001, A Space Odyssey. This is regarded as one of the best science fiction movies of all time. Ridley Scott got a lot of his influence from this, but the only problem was that it was a lot more clean than he imagined. It's cramped, but again, it's clean. And so he didn't think that that would be very realistic. The next film that influenced him was Star Wars. Star Wars had the crowded aspect, it had the dirty aspect, it had everything that he wanted from 2001: A Space Odyssey, including what he didn't get from it. He got the dirt, he got the filth, he got the actual feeling of people living on ships and living on these planets. And all this went into him, and he made Alien. Alien, in my opinion, is one of the best science fiction movies of all time. You see the crampedness, you see the cleanliness from 2001, but you don't really see a whole lot of it. You get a lot of dirt in the corridors, but a lot of this was bringing dark aspects into the spaceship. It was bringing suspense, bringing fear into it, something that hadn't really been done before. But instead of using fear in his next film, Blade Runner, he used more of a noir detective kind of feel. It still had the entire alien kind of world, with the darkness, the crowded rooms, the crowded cities, but it was a little brighter, a little neon. And this is also regarded as one of the best science fiction movies of all time. His reaches go far and in between. You can see his influences on today as well as the past. You see it through the darkness, through the neon, through the cramped cities. He wanted to make his worlds seem like Tokyo, with crowded people, with crowded cities, crowded alleyways, in addition to making them feel like they're sort of markets, and that everyone's just doing business, going from here and there. Some of the movies that he influenced that you can really see the connection to, things like this: Akira, an anime from the 80s, The Matrix, where you can clearly see the crampedness, the dirtiness of it. And then also The Fifth Element, where you can see the cities really cramped, the high-rises everywhere, and then spaceships and cars flying. Also in recent times, in the past several years, you also see his influences in movies such as Guardians of the Galaxy, where this is a space prison, but again, it's space, it's cramped, it's not fun to be in. And you also see it in Thor, which was released last year. This is a world that's basically built on trash. And so, this is kind of his vision of the future. A dystopian, trash-filled heap of filth. These have been Ridley Scott's introductions to the science fiction world, and he has used his influences throughout to change the entire scape of science fiction. I hope you've learned more about Ridley Scott after this speech, and thank you for your time.